Good evening, and happy Plantational Sunday. I'm going to go ahead and share this over into the Passionpreneur community. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So I see that we have Tracy Rowley. Tracy, welcome, 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 welcome to our Wednesday Wisdom Unleashed. So I did post a video on yesterday for our Tech Tuesday, which went into an amazing tool that I love to use called the script so that we can get more content out there over time. I love going live. I love creating YouTube videos. So why not take those and use it to create clips for my reels and for my stories, as opposed to thinking that I have to just sit there and create a ton of videos on top of those videos. And sometimes content can be overwhelming for us. And so this was an amazing tool to be able to use to kind of help us with that content. So I'm going to go over to the comments and we're going to just kick it off with questions, either questions about my Tech Tuesday or questions just in general about business strategy. This is your free coaching session. If you have never worked with me one on one before, this is a great warm up for you to see exactly how I would support you if I did a one on one consult with you to help build your business. So it is a free for all. If I don't know the answer to a question, or I need to do a little bit more research, or to get you a little more solid answer, I will come back on our next Wednesday Wisdom Unleashed and give you guys the exact strategy. If not, create a video and post it right then into the community so that you guys have answers to your business questions. So here in our Passionpreneur community, I help you with business strategy. I help you to plan and strategically organize your day to be able to run multiple businesses or to work a 9 to 5 job, and also be able to do your business on the side as you transition to come out of your full-time job. I also help with digital strategy so that you guys can create cash on replay, as well as giving you the latest tips and tools that can turn your business into an empire. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we feel like we have to do everything ourselves. We don't have the money to really hire someone. We don't have the cash flow to be able to do all the things. But what I want to show you is that by using some of these digital strategies, it can prep you to begin to make enough money to build a team. So hello, 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 Tracy. I see that you're here. All right, so go ahead and drop your questions. And as your questions come up, I will bring them on the screen and I will just go in and answer all of them. I know a couple of our people are going to be in our Passionpreneur community. And just if you are watching in the Passionpreneur community, just know you need to be on the Training You to Succeed page so that I can see your questions. If you are inside of the community and you ask your question and it just doesn't get answered, it's probably because I do not see the question. So you do need to click on the live and actually watch the Training to Succeed in Business live so that you can ask your live questions. All right. All right, so I'll look for those questions. I'm gonna go ahead and tag everyone. Okay, so I see a couple of questions coming up. All right. Hello, M3 Gardens. I happen to know that M3 Gardens is my fabulous Karen Harkins. But hello, M3 Gardens. I know that we've been trying to figure out for years why you can watch me live on that page and not other page. So hashtag live. Thank you for being here. Okay. All right, so I have a question by Sarai, and I'm going to pull this up to the top, and I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger so that you guys can see it. Suggestions on content related to an event. I have the training Saturday I'm participating in, and I can use any tips and tools on what to record or take images of to make it an experience for my followers and potential customers. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Is you're participating in an event and you want to kind of showcase so that you can get more clients. So when we think of an event, we have to ask ourselves, what is the goal of the event? What is the purpose of the event? What is your goal to do with this event? Is it to showcase your talent as a speaker? Is it to drive more people to your business? Because once you know what the purpose of that event is, it will help you to reverse engineer how to create content. So let me give you an example. I participate in conferences and speak, but my goal when I speak at those conferences is to book more stages that are bigger stages, or book more schools that can have me come out and speak so that I can have a book schedule, right, to get in front of more schools and more programs. So when I create content, I am showcasing me as a speaker, what I'm going to be talking about, how I prep so that people can get a sneak peek into what they would get if they booked me for a workshop. And so it's not so much about the what I'm speaking on or the conference, but to showcase how I prepare for Starbucks. I was going to say Starbucks, right? How I prepare for an event. So I may get up with my camera and film and say, hey, it's 5 a.m. Even though this conference doesn't start until 10, here's what you get when you book a workshop with me. And so I'll go to Starbucks, grab my drink, and then I may go to my office and start packing some things, or it may be videos that I've created during the week as I prepare for this event, but really giving people the behind the scenes of how I prepare. Then I may go live and I may talk about, arriving to the event. I am here. Here's what this event looks like. I am being featured here, but you can have me at your school if you weren't able to make this conference. So ask yourself, what is the goal? And we should all be doing this when we're creating content. What is the purpose of actually posting it? What is the thing that you want to drive people to? And when you know the thing that you want to drive people to, then you can kind of reverse engineer what you want to create, because what you're creating is going to get people to that place. So what I would do is just start off with, what is the goal for the conference? How can you showcase yourself preparing? Why should people choose you to come and speak at their school just because you're speaking at a conference? And then give them a little taste of what you would get in the presentation. I love to showcase that this was just 1 hour and they got this and 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 this. Imagine if you had me for 4 hours at your school. Imagine a transformation that your staff would have with me if I was able to do this in just 1 hour. I also get testimonials from those who participated so that I can use that as content, and that will help to drive people to my upcoming event. But leading up to Saturday, I will be posting something every day that you're doing, even screen recording as you prep your presentation, even, pretending like you're asleep and having somebody record you, and you're just tossing and turning and tossing and turning and tossing and turning, and you're like, oh, all the ideas and I only have 1 hour. So something funny that'll bring them in, but really showcase. So I hope that helped. And if you have more questions, Sarai, I just feel free to continue to drop them there. Oh, good. You know what? Before I answer your question, Tracy, let me go to Karen's question. All right. What kind of questions is this open for? Any business strategy questions, whether it's a question from our Tech Tuesday, whether it's a question about growing your business, whether it is any type of question that has to do with your business strategy and helping you to grow. Just see this as your one-on-one coaching session, and you're getting all the coaching that you need in the next 45 minutes or so. Good question, Karen. All right. So, as a jewelry business, along with other jewelry businesses, how do you get visual on social media? Remember that people aren't falling in love with your jewelry per se, they're falling in love with you. So, a lot of mistakes that people who are selling products make is that they want to show off the product instead of showing off the process, showing off the use of it, and making it make sense because we buy things that we don't need, right? We buy things all the time that we don't need, but we really want them. But why do we want them? Because someone has showed us a practical use for them. And so, with all the jewelry companies out there, the way you stand out is by being Tracy, by showing you and your world, packing orders, showing you dressed up when you're going out. And I've seen your pictures before, but the way you stand out is being yourself and coming up. There are a lot of consultants, there's a lot of trainers, there's a lot of communities out there, there's a lot of coaches out there. And I could easily say, like, there's so many, it's so saturated that I can. But what am I doing? I am hosting co-working on Wednesdays for free. If you guys have never checked out co-working, you are welcome to join. I'll drop the link for the co-working for this Wednesday in the chat so that you guys can have it. But I offer co-working to kind of get you in that work schedule mode. I do Plantational Sunday. You see coaches that they don't get on and coach people for free. I do this Wednesday Wisdom Unleashed. So people need to see you and what makes you different. Even if we're selling the same exact type of jewelry, you're different because you put a different touch to it, a different flair with it, and you give people more than just the jewelry. You give them the experience. So don't think about it as a jewelry business. It is Tracy's jewelry business. And Tracy jewelry business is like no other jewelry business because the ideas that come into your mind and into your heart and into your space is going to be totally different than what comes into my mind and into my heart and into my space. So you can definitely just showcase a little bit more of you and in your world so that people want to be in it. And when people want to be in your world, they will patronize your business, they will patronize you, they will buy whatever because they're in love with the creator, not the person itself. So my mom talks about this brand Baskin Lather. I had never heard of it. And apparently it's gone viral. It's a hair product and all of that. And it's not the product that people really fell in love with first. It is the creator of the product and how much she talked about it and shared and showed results and how it stood out. You're not just another jewelry lady. You're not just another person who sells that type of jewelry. You are the jewelry lady. You are the Tracy Rowley, and it is so different from any other person, and that's why people are going to be running to buy jewelry from you because it's like no other experience before. And there are a lot of people creating oil, there are a lot of people creating shampoos and growth and all kinds of things for the hair, and she managed to stand out and be viral, even though there were so many people doing the same thing as her. And what made her stand out was the fact that she showed up and showed parts of her life and parts of her struggle and parts of herself that made people fall in love with her. So I hope that that helps, Tracy. And if you have additional questions, feel free to drop them. All right, so I got a question from M3. What kind of social media should I use for my book launch and pre-sale? Are you referring to platform or what type of content should you be creating for that? Are you talking about platform content or a combination of both? So if you can clarify M3 Gardens, and I can just dive deep into book launch and how book launches are a little bit different. People think it's about the book, but it's not about the book. It's about the experience and the journey. And so sometimes we just want to post the book and we don't want to do details about it. Live readings or excerpts from the book is really great, showing people how practical it is. I am putting out like a little mini type of planner that is inspired by the miracle morning to kind of help people. But instead of me going like, hey, buy my planner or buy my mini planner or whatever it may be. It's more of look at me use it. Look at me read it and make notes, and look at me do these things with it and showing practical use of it. And that's what people was like, oh yeah, I need that. How does this book fit in my life? And you're the one that's going to have to show people how that book fits in their life. So if you can give me a little bit more details, I can go ahead and answer that question. Yes, exactly. I learned that with my magical gardens. The magic of it is more sellable than the actual gardens. Yes, the way you feel, people are buying feelings. I'm sorry, and experiences. I want people, when you leave from me, to feel much better than you felt when you entered into my life or entered into my world. It's not even about giving you answers and all of that. It's about making you feel good about your business, making you feel inspired. Like when you get off the phone with me, I want you to feel like, dang, I want to go do something. Yes, yes, that's it, that's it. And so that is a feeling that I want people to have. I don't want them to feel like, oh my God, I have more stuff to do. And I'm not saying that you're not going to ever feel overwhelmed, but I want when people leave my space to feel like I can conquer this thing. I can be a successful business owner, because guess what? It starts here, and it just starts with consistency. It just starts with showing up. It just starts with pushing even more, and it will give you ideas to be able to branch out. And I mean, I'm going to say this, Tracy, and a lot of people may be like, yeah, like this is a little rough, but maybe you've capped out in the jewelry business that you're in. Maybe you need to start curating your own jewelry. Maybe you need to start, looking at some things to bring in your own pieces. Maybe people are like, okay, I have enough of that. I want more, Tracy. And so sometimes when we kind of cap out in a business, we get called to a higher part or a higher place to start creating more. So sometimes we can lean on things and be comfortable. Like I always tell people, Mary Kay was a vehicle for me. It taught me like leadership. It taught me, business skill. It taught me organization. It taught me stage presence, all of the things. But then when I got to a certain level, it was like, I don't want to lead people on this capacity. I don't want to inspire business owners on this capacity or just in this world. I want to do that for other genres of businesses. I want to do that for other entrepreneurs. And so I decided to branch out, and that's, and do what I'm doing right now. So sometimes in our situations, we can just like cap out at a certain thing, and it's time for us to enter into a new realm, especially if we feel like we're just like running into a brick wall. But that's more details, that we can talk about a little bit more, Tracy, but it may be time for you to transition into something bigger. Okay, you help nonprofits also. So yeah, showcasing that and letting people know, she like letting people know, when you purchase from me, the more I can do for other people. That's one of my things. Like I don't want to just make a million just because I want a million to buy things for my family and to buy things. You guys see where I spend my money on my planner box. Buying scissors and paper and colors and markers and planners and stuff. That's my pastime. But I want to make more money because I want to pour into more businesses, and I want to pour into more teachers. I want to award teacher scholarships so that they can get their credential and get proper training. And then I want to make enough money to be able to give scholarships to business owners so that they can invest in the tech that they need. They can invest in the virtual assistants that they need to be able to grow and thrive. I don't want to just do this for me. I want to do it for other people as well. And so when you're talking about selling and when you're talking about your jewelry, let people know. Let them know that this is not just to feed my family, but this is to empower others and to do more for others. So I love that, Tracy. Okay, all right. So she said both. So I'm gonna go back to her original question. Okay, she said, "What kind of social media should I use for my book launch and pre-sale events?" And so, a couple of platforms that is really good for connecting with audience. Of course, it's going to be Facebook, but I am going to say it depends on what the topic of your book is. You can use Facebook, you can use Instagram. I would lean into maybe even YouTube for it, YouTube Shorts, but really using it as an opportunity to teach people from the book. Why do they need that book? And so when you have your book in your hand, the type of content you should be creating is content that brings that book into that person's real life scenario. So videos of you sitting and reading, or reading and highlighting a section and then going live and pulling up that section and talking about it. From this is an excerpt from my book that really, really, really stuck with me. And here's what I'm going to teach you about that. So kind of like expounding on those different things in the book, and then promoting the book within the video. So YouTube videos are going to be great because you're going to be able to teach people and use your book as a reference, and you're going to be able to create shorts that are going to be quick tips from your book that is going to help bring people in, and then that's going to give you an opportunity to let them know about the book sale or whatever it's coming up. Just know that whatever you put in the YouTube and a short, it is evergreen content, and so you don't want to make it specific to dates, but something available for them always. If you're going to do date specific thing, you want to put something that's like a little bit more less evergreen, like Facebook and Instagram. And what I would do is just gear up for that book launch. So behind the scenes of getting ready for the book launch, going ahead and packing book orders, like getting you some bubble envelopes and putting in books in those envelopes and getting ready to just ship. Even though they're not going to be shipped, put about 30 envelopes on the floor and just start stuffing them and let people know that you're getting ready for this huge launch, and pre-order, and then do a countdown, do a virtual ribbon cut and go live and count down, and then make your website live, and then people can go in and purchase pre-order that book. I would do that. I would do a lounge, like a Facebook group, and invite people to it, and then just kind of prepare and treat that lounge as a warming for your pre-launch event. So I think Facebook is a great place, that in Instagram, even more so Facebook because it's community based, for a pre-launch. And then for long-term sales, I would really be looking at what YouTube videos can you make that aligns to your book, that will teach people, encourage people, no matter what genre or what topic it is of a book, and then reference your book in that teaching so that people are like, yes, let me get that book. I've been taking a coaching program, and so in there they reference different things, and guess what happened? Every book that they reference, everybody in the class is going to go and buy. And so when the book is your book, it makes it even better. So if you are teaching and going live and you're pulling in quotes and references and using carousels to be able to teach, reference your book and put your book as a link and use it as an opportunity to showcase it even beyond the pre-sale. But treat your pre-sale like an event. You can host an in-person one, you can host a virtual one, and rally all the people that you can to that event and do that ribbon cutting, and then just say, go in and support me in purchasing. Even using some content that talk about giving back to certain communities or giving back to organizations that align with the book that you have written. Those are some ideas for social media content that you can consistently put out there. But the more you integrate the book into your life and practical use, the more people are going to see the need for it and how to use it. So, I will open it up. Karen, you can ask me more questions about that, and I will continue to answer. Okay, and so Tracy says, I'm working on a shirt business page for from 2020. Yeah, you know what, Tracy? I'm happy that you said that, because this year, whew, I just get excited when I say it's about getting back to the basic. I had to go in my bag, and I was like, man, I got some good stuff that I started, and good thing that I started it, and now it's time to return to it. And so, yes, I think that sometimes we have to go back and nurture some of those things that we created, and we were such in a quick to go on to the next thing, and we forgot to take care of it and promote it and put it out there because it didn't pop off as quick as we wanted it to. Some of you guys need to go back to some things that you created 5-10 years ago and resurface them, rebrand them, bring them back out, and put them out on the market. And I just feel like this year is the year of stability. creating that framework, that groundwork, and just really hunkering in. And a lot of us already have the solutions to the things that we're struggling with now. We just need to go back in those journals. We need to go back in those writings that we wrote. We need to go back to some of them old Facebook posts. We need to go back to some of those communities that we created and resurface them, bring them together, and try to catapult them to the next level. And so we've been talking about like this huge move. We had a huge move in our life, and 2025. Actually, it started in 2022, and then in 2023, 2024, we were in the same place, and we thought that place was our home. We settled in, but we weren't settled in, and it was like my heart was wanting more. And then that company ended up selling that business, and they turned our offices into co-working spaces, so they were not going to be able to continue to have permanent offices. So if you watch some of my old lives and my old workshops in my old office, we had like our studio set up, and I had my boutique shop across the hallway, and then we had our Teachertopia shop down the way. So we were occupying 3 offices in that building, along with a storage locker with all of our training materials, which was like on the other side of the office. And then we had 2 large warehouses with inventory, like 2 large like RV warehouses with inventory, because the years before we had moved out of a storefront, a full storefront that was a boutique. And 2025 was like trying to figure out like, how are we going to get everything under one roof? Since we're going to have to move, we're going to make a conscious decision to put everything under one roof. And so it was like a mix up of things, and it was like, okay, how are we going to be able to do this? So we ended up moving into our new space in June. During that time, that is my biggest speaking seasons. I do a lot of conferences, a lot of workshops, and travel was just crazy, and we hadn't been able to like touch, so it was just like packed. And now it's January, and we moved in July of 2025, and I'm just now starting to unpack. But when I began to unpack starting in November, like really put things together, I started to find things that I had written, I had put together, and it was a really refreshing moment for me to go back to my core, to go back to my basics. I found that I was moving so fast, accumulated so much stuff, and my hands were just like full, and I had a lot. And I felt like that move and getting settled now gave me permission to put some stuff down and get back to the core of what we do, the core of what we do, and the core of us supporting and loving on people. If you don't know, across all of my business, we have one thing that we focus on, and that is the love of people. In my early childhood business, it's about loving my teachers and encouraging them. In this community, it's about loving and inspiring you guys and giving you guys the things that you need. In my Solid Up boutique, it's about loving my clients and making sure that they feel comfortable and secure in what they wear. In my Teachertopia shop, it's about loving those teachers and making sure that when they go to work, they feel like, hey, I feel good, so I can perform good. And so when you get back to your core and the basics, some of you guys need to go back there, you will get a complete understanding, and you will find businesses and you will find solutions that you have been searching for but have had it in your hand already. So I love that. Okay, this is a little bit about Karen's book. She said it's the second in the series of Echoes of Almost, the dating book. Oh, baby. Let me tell you this. Those are series. And you can create series within series, which will give you reels, it'll give you stories, it'll give you lessons, it'll give you tips, all those things that you can use to elevate the book. So you could take about 5 lessons and turn it into like at least 6 months of content. And take each one of those lessons, break it down. You can do a YouTube YouTube video about it. Now, don't give them the exact verbiage from the book, but give them the just like the one verse and then turn it into a lesson and tell them why you feel that they need to read the rest of the book to be able to continue the journey. I think with a series like Echoes of Almost, like the dating book, it is a journey that you want people to go on with you. Phase one, phase two, phase three, kind of like Twilight series. You know, if you didn't catch the beginning and you tried to hop in the middle, you kind of feel a little bit lost. And so you have to call people in at this point, and say, hey, you guys want to get back into it, and maybe you need to go back to the first book and not necessarily really focus on the second book. Have people fall in love with that book and then let them know that, hey, this is a series, it didn't stop there, so let's go ahead and get your pre-orders for your second book. So maybe even your content can be right now focused on the first book and then lead up to the launch of the second book, because if people haven't read the first book, they may not want to get the second book, or they may not even know there's a first book if you just go ahead and lead with the second book. So that strategy is very important. So when I work with people that create series of books, I tell them to stay at the top. Stay at the first one, because that's where you hook people in. And then you create a community around that first one. That way you already have your client list to launch the second, the third, the fourth, and you're constantly feeding people into that community of who bought that first book, so that your real strategy is in that community with people who have already read the first book. Because if you go to just bring in new people on the second series, it's going to be quite confusing. Now, will you do that? Yes, you will. I mean, some people came in on the second series of Twilight, and guess what they had to do? Like, oh my God, I got to go back and get the first book. And so they had to go back and get the first one in order to get caught up. And then they became a part of the community so that they could be ready for the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and however many you're going to put out there. But I think a really good strategy right now is to get as many people as you can on that first book, so that you can transition them into a community, create content around the launch, and then you already have your people sitting right there for your second book launch. All right. All right, God Strength Apparel. That is the name of Tracy's. And Tracy, you said and a book. So tell us a little bit about that book that you have. You guys have some really good questions tonight. Awesome, awesome. All right, hop on in there. Hop on in there. And let me know if you have questions. I know that there's a little bit of a lag, so I will give you guys time to get those questions. So, um, these are good things, and think about, when we think about strategy, always think about the end. Where are you trying to go? When we think about creating content, sometimes we're like so busy trying to post, I got to get these content out there. For what? Where are you leading people? So you have to sit down with yourself and ask, where am I trying to take people? And when we get that and we know the destination, oh baby, that road, that content starts to flow a lot easier. It starts to make more sense. It starts to make people feel like, oh yeah, I'm on this road, on this journey with her. And so it's not just randomly being thrown at them. It is making sense. Where am I taking people? I'm taking them into the community. I'm taking people into my life and my world. I want them to see, what type of person I am. I want them to see exactly what I have going on, so that they are a part of it and they feel comfortable enough to share their woes and their struggles in their business. Not only feel comfortable to talk to me about them, but feel comfortable with spending their money with me and knowing that I am going to bring them a real solution for their business. So, yeah, it's like, drop those questions. I am here to support, to love on you, to coach you during this time, and get all the solutions that you need on today's live. That is such a good question. How often does posts need to be made to stay relevant? Consistently. I'm going to say that. People should know when to find you. And it also depends on what platform you use. If for Facebook and Instagram, I would say start off being consistent every day. So every day you need to either do a post, a reel, a video, just like a little word, a caption type of thing, or a quote that you put out there First, let's be consistent. And if you can commit to consistently posting once a day, every single day for at least 30 days, then add on to it. And that's going to be more of your Facebook and Instagram. And you guys notice that I'm not saying TikTok as much, especially with the things that are going on in TikTok. But if you were going to be on TikTok, I would say that you need to post daily in order to stay relevant in that algorithm. If you're talking about talking about YouTube, you can post a YouTube video once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on your cadence, and you let your audience know. But then to get people ready for the next video or to get people watching that video, you want to use something like I showed you guys in the script to create chops of it that you can schedule to post every single day so that you can draw people to that video that you've already created to be able to get them to fall in love with you so that they can watch the next video and the next video and the next video. So it depends on the platform. It also depends on what your goal is and what you're trying to get people to do. So if you're trying to get them to become a one-on-one client, you want to give them sneak peeks at least every day for you to be able to be seen at the top of the feed, and making sure that you're using keywords. That is something that will keep you relevant and on top of the funnel and keep you, eyes on you. So I would say find your cadence, find what consistency means to you and do it, and then gradually grow yourself. There are people that made, in 2024, the over $1 million that I made them using Facebook. Like, I was not on any other platform. I dibbled and dabbled in YouTube, but I just did Facebook. And so people are like, well, you have to be everywhere. No, you just got to be somewhere. You notice that TikTok people stay on TikTok. Notice that YouTube people kind of stay on YouTube, and they kind of share with you on Facebook and Instagram to drive you to YouTube, but the goal is YouTube. And so now that we're integrating a YouTube strategy, which is really new, like I've been on YouTube, I know YouTube, I've coached on YouTube, I've been to YouTube training, I've been in inner circle with YouTube, but I've always been a Facebook girl. And so that was my zone of money making. That's where my cash came from, and I followed the cash. When I started seeing that my conversions on Facebook made me money, I stayed there. I didn't try to go build something new. I stayed where I knew my money was. That's how I built my list. The riches are in my list. That's how I got a list of over 30,000 people. Is because I was consistent on Facebook. Now, when it comes to our strategy switching to YouTube, now it's to grab people's attention so that I can grab them to take them over to YouTube, which, by the way, we have 2 channels on YouTube, and they are both about to explode any moment now because we've been on it. Our first channel is Training You to Succeed. It is Miss Carolyn. It's my early childhood page. There are some lives from a couple of years ago that are on there, so you can check out those lives. And as you guys see, I'm double streamed now also to Facebook on my Dr.Carolyn Bobb-Green page. And that page is for Passionpreneurs and all that. And it has some of our Plantational Sundays on there, but we have videos that we're about to release. We put a pause on it last year because I'm all about strategy. And and when it comes to business, I had to really step back and say, okay, in my business right now, how would YouTube actually work for me? And even though I created the videos then, even though it was going to go out there, the strategy didn't make sense. And now that I feel like I have a grasp on that strategy, we're going to be able to go. So your consistency is what counts, not necessarily how often you post. Okay. Yes, alignment of where you're taking your audience. You absolutely are right, Karen. You have to line yourself up, because otherwise you'll lead your audience all over the place and they will not appreciate that. And that's something that I'm there. I would rather say nothing at all. I would rather stay in my little box right here than to lead people just into a whole bunch of confusion. All right. All right. Soraya has a good question. She says, what's going on in TikTok and YouTube? Yes. I stopped posting on it. Got to start back. Yes. So TikTok was bought by a US company. And so some of the monetizations and funding was not being dispersed like it was before. Algorithms were not initially transferred over to the new buyers. And so people are experiencing some discomfort over on TikTok financially because of the change in ownership. And so I like, I was over on TikTok. I play on TikTok sometime, but I would never put my eggs in a basket that at once upon a time shut down and left all of us looking like, And so one thing for sure is YouTube gonna be there. YouTube is going to be there, and it's been there, and they're growing, and they're doing things that they hadn't done. They're creating communities over there. You're able to sell your merch over there. You're able to not only do videos, but you can do shorts. They have where you can post. So it's starting to be like a real live social media platform, and not just a place where people just go to learn stuff. And since YouTube is owned by the ABC company, the alphabet company, ABC company, which is the owners of Google as well. When you post on YouTube, you are optimizing, SEO optimizing the search of you. So when people put you in Google, that's why YouTube videos come up first. And so when we talk about strategy, I am all about evergreen strategy. I'm all about being searchable and findable. When people put things in, they're able to look up. So we could talk about YouTube in greater details. I'm not sure if Facebook took it down because they were taking down some of the old lives and videos and stuff. But YouTube should definitely be a part of your strategy if you're looking to scale and grow in 2026. And I can speak from experience in the past of growing my community using YouTube and Facebook. And I can speak from clients that I have coached over the last 3 to 5 years that have very successful YouTube pages and have very successful clientele because of their YouTube community. I also teach YouTube for real estate agents. And so I know it's something that's working. It just didn't make sense for my personal strategy. And that's one thing you guys are going to learn. Just because you're familiar with something and know something and teach something and know the ins out, does not mean that that's a strategy for your business. You have to align yourself and make sure it's good for you. And when I wanted to do it because I saw the success of others, not because it made sense for my business at the time. Now that I am in full-time content creator atmosphere and what I'm trying to do, I want to do more of one to many as opposed to one to one. And since I've shifted my business in that way, YouTube does make sense because I want to be everybody's Carolyn. I don't want to just be a few people's Carolyn. I want people to be like, okay, I got a question, I'm going to ask Carolyn. So that's why I'm even streaming these lives over on YouTube right now. So if you prefer to watch this on YouTube as opposed to Facebook, or you're like, I can never find it on YouTube, check it out. And we're going to be scheduling these lives, so you guys are going to be able to see them and actually say, yes, I want to attend them, so that you get the notifications and everything. But check that out, and I'll come back here and drop our YouTube link there so that you guys can follow us over there. Okay. Hey, Marie. Welcome, Marie. I'm so glad that you are here. Okay, Tracy, you're back. All right, so Tracy, should you post on YouTube? Well, the bigger question is, what's your goal? Like, right? What's your goal? And is YouTube aligned enough for you to go over there and make it a part of your strategy? I'm a strong believer that, yeah, I think that could work for multiple of your businesses. You can promote yourself. So I just think about strategy. If I were you and I went over there and I would talk about some things from my book, or maybe deliver some content that is aligned to the book. One, you can sell the book. Two, you can get dressed up in your own t-shirts, your earrings, and then you can do promos within your video to get people to purchase your jewelry and your clothing based on what you wear in the video and based on what you do in the video. And so I think it can be a strategy. The strategy may be different for you than most people or other people or some people. And that's why I always tell people, like, don't just think, oh, I'm going to go post to YouTube. You need to have a YouTube strategy. And that is why people succeed on YouTube, is because they have a clear strategy about what they're doing and how they're going to accumulate money, how they're going to make money, how it's going to be evergreen for them, and how they're going to make sense of it in their world, because you have to have that consistency. You got to film, you got to post, you got to create thumbnails, you have to edit these videos, you have to put them up, you have to have good camera quality, you have to, there are things with YouTube that have to be done in order for you to grow. And so I think it is an amazing strategy for you, but you just it can be an amazing strategy for you, but you just need to get the details and make sure that all the components are there, so when you do it, you don't get burnt out and you don't think like, what am I I doing here? I was doing the same thing on Facebook as I was doing on Instagram. So why did I come over here for another platform? So strategy is going to be important for you. Yes, you did catch me live, Christophy. Hey, girl. As a matter of fact, like hit me up in my inbox. I got to talk to you. I am so happy you did catch me live. It's 2026. It is time for us to definitely connect and go straight up. You have to know Christopher is my girl. She is in Houston, does amazing work for first responders, amazing work for people that are in distress, like flood victims and children that are put at risk and hurt and abused. Like she does a great work here in Texas. I'm so proud of what she do and so supportive of what she does, and just a blessing to call her a friend of mine that does an amazing piece of work. So Christopher, thank you for catching me live. We definitely have to connect soon, and we got to do our exchange of energy. So happy that you're here. All right, book, shirt, jewelry. Yeah, like you can tie that all into a Facebook, not a Facebook. I'm sorry, YouTube strategy. And I have said for years, like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this YouTube thing because I love video. Like that's one thing for sure. It's like too much stuff that I like to do with social media, but live video and recorded video, I love it. And when oh, thank you so much, Krista. When I struggled to do it, I knew something was wrong, right? I was like, why is it so hard for me? And it's something that I love. And it was because my strategy wasn't aligned. And so what I was trying to do is do it because I was told I was supposed to do it and it would work for me, as opposed to sitting down and asking myself, yes, that's an amazing idea. So how can I fold this into the fold? And so it became a struggle as opposed to it being a fun thing. And now I feel like, man, it makes sense. It's a great thing. One of the things that I'm going to share, and we're going to wrap up here soon. I want to see you guys questions in the comments, so that I can get more questions answered. Because I'm here to coach y'all, right? I'm here to teach y'all. I'm here to consult with y'all. I'm here to hype you up. And so drop those questions. I am here to answer them all. But before we wrap up, what was I going to say? I don't know, it'll come back to me. We I really want to be here to support you guys and answer your questions. And so with these different things and these different strategies, if you need more support, you need to go into more detail, feel free to send me an inbox, and so that we can set up a free one-on-one so that we can kind of talk about what this could look like for you. Because just because someone suggests it to you and tell you it's a good idea for you doesn't mean that you're supposed to start it right then, or you should just jump into it without having some type of plan in place. What I was going to say is, I was working with my AI agents. Yeah, we'll talk about that in For the Love of Tech February. And one of the things that I said is that, now that I have a full understanding of where I'm going in 2026, like this is what we're going to do. And not just in one business, but like across multiple businesses, right? And I sat there and I said, that's okay, but in order for me to do that, I need some plan time. And so I created a amazing 2-day content schedule, where it would set me up for the next 4 weeks. And I don't put things out there until I test it myself. And so I blocked out time to kind of test it, see what works, see what doesn't work. And when I come back to you guys, I'm going to invite you guys to use my plan, my schedule and my plan, and how I was able to get ahead in February into March, and how often you should be doing that. Because maintenance is important. So if you can't do it consistently, then it's going to be a problem. So there are some kinks in that creation that I want to kink out, but I am going to go first and live that experiment. I've tried it before. I've done the solopreneur day with you guys before, which is an amazing, highly productive day. I've done my power up with you guys where I spend that time and give you a plan for your business. And if you come to my power up event, you get to see me in person and all of that. Those details are coming. But I believe that there's something in this content schedule that I put together and worked with, the AI agency to be able to show you guys. And what I believe is that the format that it gave me is something that I can give to you guys, that you can do it every quarter or once a month or whatever, and be able to create content in a way that will keep your cash flowing. It's not about just putting things on Facebook, posting. People think like, the more I post, the more I post, the more I post. It has to be quality content. It has to captivate people. It has to pull them in. It has to really show them exactly who you are and what you do. And so that is going to be key. And that is why I'm really taking time to get a formula for it, because I believe that if I live the formula and the formula works for me, why not share with other people so that we can achieve high levels of success together? All right, Tracy. Okay. Do you think I should do jewelry on business page and shirt on regular page, or does it matter? Okay, if they are the same business, then you should put them both under your brand on your business page. I would use your professional page or your personal page to be about getting to know you and all of your business. The way I see my personal page is that it's my brand, which is me. And my brand owns Training to Succeed in Business. It owns Training to Succeed Early Childhood Training and Consulting. It owns Style It Up Boutique, and it owns Teachertopia, and it co-owns the Boss School. And so I am the representation of all of those brands. And so when you go to my professional page, you get that. And when you land there, whatever resonates with you, you're going to go follow it. So if I start talking about childcare and training and stuff, you're going to be like, well, that has nothing to do with me. And so it being always talked about on my page is going to make people not want to be there. But if I just drop nuggets and just show them what I'm doing, this is a part of my work, that is what's going to make them say, oh, wow, I like Carolyn. I like being in her world and seeing what she does and what she has going on next. And then I may drop something that is for them, and then they will jump on that and join that community. So I would leave your main professional page as the page that represent you and your brands, because you are the brand and you are the parent company to all of those different things that you have. And then I would put your jewelry, if that's one business, on one page, and your shirts on another page, or combine them together onto one business page. But I try to make my personal page about all the things that I have going on. And then if you want more details, you can go to my business page. Kind of like you guys are here on my business page watching this live. This live is not shared to my personal page, but I may go over there and mention like, hey, I just finished this live over there. I'm really helping people because I want people to know what I'm doing. And if that resonates with them, they will come and hop on one of these lives with us. Yes, if you have more people on your regular page, get them over to the pages where they're patronizing. If they're hanging out on your regular page and not on there, it's because you're giving them the content over there. They have no reason to go and join your business page. But you want people on your business page so that you're not curating your personal page behind a business. It is who you are and not what you do. And so I want people to feel like this is who I am. And if one of these brands resonate with you, you can go learn more. You're going to hear me mention it. You're going to hear me talking about it. And people will say, girl, you do some of everything. You show right. So what you need? So what you need, you can go click on it right there above my page. If you need childcare training, if you need business training, if you need an outfit to wear, if you're a teacher in a classroom and you need out, you just click one of those and it'll take you right where you need. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much. This was such an amazing live. You can catch me on Plantational Sunday this Sunday at 5 a.m. You can also catch my video inside of the Passionpreneur community. You have to be in the Passionpreneur community to get the Tech Tuesday video. Catch me live here on Wednesday for Wednesday Wisdom Unleashed. And then I can tell you guys, next week we are kicking off for the love of tech, and it is a full series of videos that's going to teach you guys some amazing tools that are free, low cost, that you can use in your business. And that series is inside of the Passionpreneur community. So you guys got to go join the community, get on there. I am going to go ahead and hop over to co-working. And I will catch you guys on Sunday. Have an amazing week. And as always, I look forward to training you to succeed in your business. Have a nice night.